Welcome to No Such Thing as Normal podcast with Natalie Hayes and Jess McKeown.
This is a casual podcast where we talk about all the things you're not supposed to talk about in order to help you normalize your real life, because really we're all just a bunch of weirdos having a completely human experience in a society that asks us to pretend like we're not.
And I'm your host, Jess, a gifted spirit baby medium who facilitates deep soul healing by channeling divine messages.
And I'm your other host, Natalie, an intuitive mentor and transformative healer.
Be sure to subscribe where you listen to podcasts. Watch our 100% unedited episodes on YouTube. And you can also follow us on Instagram at McJaguar and at Intuitively Natalie for more weirdo and woo-woo content.
And if you like this episode, our final episode of season 2, please be sure to rate and review and subscribe and share and tag us so that more people can unleash their weird with you. So welcome to our final episode for season 2. This is our live Q&A episode. If you missed season 1's, go back and listen to it. It's pretty funny. I think Freud showed up. Didn't Freud show up?
Yeah.
It was like right here.
Yes. I don't know why spirits have no sense of personal space or boundaries with me, but I'm working on it. It's like, I see you, I feel you, dude.
Yeah, well, you had an experience recently also channeling like a spirit that just showed up.
I do. And, spirits just show up sometimes and want me to pass on messages. And I'm just having coffee or tea with my friend. And so I will often say to the spirit, if I pass on your message, will you go?
Will you leave me alone?
Because it's like you're having a chat with a friend and there's like a person just like standing there like super awkward, like, hi, I know you can't see me really, but you can sense me and feel me. And so that's always my thing with spirits. I'm like, what's your message? And then will you go? And they usually do. It's really funny to watch a spirit like walk downstairs. You're like, great, I passed on my message. So yeah, I don't know. It happens with people who I've asked my guides about this that are like really in tune. If you're already open and you're doing the work and I'm just having a friendly conversation with you, like stuff will just show up and my abilities just kind of go into hyper mode, I can't really control it per se. I don't like say happen now, but it just will come in. And it's sometimes kind of jarring, to be totally honest, when you see like a native guy with like tattoos on his face and a spear and a thing through his nose, like staring at you so intently, like you must pass on this message. I'm like, okay. But I guess I have a pretty bright light for those people. So and I'm probably pretty accommodating.
I'm pretty accommodating to the spirit world. I don't know if you know.
I'm like Motel 6, like we'll leave the light on, like you're like, oh,
Motel 6, Jess, don't ever. You're a Hilton. Don't let anybody tell you different.
I'll leave the light on for you, spirit, as I like to say. But I think as you kind of like, does this happen to you?
Mine is not necessarily the same way. I don't channel in the same way that you channel. You like see things so vividly. I like feel into the energy of things, and I apologize for the congestion and the nasally sound. The pregnancy congestion has hit me, so we're just gonna work with it. I will enunciate the best I can. But when people are talking to me about like situations or other people, a lot of the times I'll be able to like feel into that energy, but not necessarily like have a spirit show up and say like, hey. So if like you're talking to me about your partner or whatever, and just mentioning their energy, sometimes they'll show up. Like someone was talking to me about their mom and their mom's energy showed up. So like I invited it forward and you could just like feel her neuroses. And that was like the message that was being conveyed in that relationship. So it's not like I see those spirits or anything. I think that would be really cool, but I like feel.
Is it like you're just going along having your conversation and then when they say something like your energy changes, or like how do you know it shows up for you?
When they're more inquisitive about it, if they're saying it in a way that they want to understand more or go deeper into it, it's like I think it's a projector thing. Like I need that invitation to be able to like go deeper into that energy, or else I'm not gonna mess with it.
You're like, since you inquired.
Yeah.
Let's just
call your mom forward or we'll talk to her.
Okay, how do you call somebody's mom forward?
I just invite their energy forward. I don't have like a fancy way of doing it. I just like invite them forward.
You don't send them like an Evite or something?
No.
You're like, please show up.
No.
You just say like, come forward, or like mentally say come forward, or like it's an invitation in your energy?
Yeah. I have to invite them forward. I feel like I do have really strong boundaries. So like stuff just doesn't show up for me like that, but I have to invite it in.
I for sure think these people show up because my boundaries are weak.
Just okay,
like I said, Motel 6. They're like, yeah,
no.
Jess, who's available. I love it.
So we've been podcasting for a year.
Woo!
Because this is going to come out the week after the Cancer new moon. And I think that's when our first episode came out last year.
Yeah, we like Cancer season.
Do we?
Well, I do. Do you?
I don't.
Every time the moon is in Cancer, Natalie's like, the moon is in Cancer.
Always in a bad
I hate the moon in Cancer. I'm like, okay. Now we have a whole season of Cancer season.
It's like, oh yeah, don't remind me. I know. And then when the moon is in Cancer and the sun's in Cancer, I'm going to be out of office.
That's actually, so people have been like, my schedule is shut down right now. And people are like, what are you doing and why? And I was like, I'm actually planning to work on days when the moon is in better placements for me than others. That's kind of why my schedule might look a little bit more sporadic in August and in the fall, because I want to try that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to have to just work through a Cancer moon if I don't need to.
I feel like they're not all bad. That's like a broad generalization. It's just, like my Chiron is in Cancer. I just don't like it that much. It's wounding. It's very emotional.
Yeah. And do you have a Cancerian mom too?
My mom is a Cancer rising.
Okay, and I have a Cancerian mom, so
yeah, but a Taurus.
We're ready for all the. I'm ready for all the emotions.
I don't
know. I don't feel so emotional though. Do you? I mean, I guess, is it Cancer season? It is.
I'm just
right?
grumpy. Yeah, it is today. Today's the day after the solstice, so it's officially the Cancer season. I historically just like haven't really gotten along with Cancers, like people who have really strong Cancer placements in their chart. I just historically have not gotten on that well. But then you sent me an article today about how everybody hates Geminis, so I feel like it's fair to have preferences.
I feel like there are some signs that kind of get like bad raps, right? Like we have, I know Jillian is a Pisces, and Pisces always get like emotional and you know, like kind of like Cancers do, right? Like we can't. They're like, and Scorpios are kind of like their own water sign. They're kind of like woof off on their own. But the Pisces and the Cancerians, it's like, I think that's just like a bashing on the divine feminine.
I mean,
like, what's wrong with being emotional?
Right? I mean, there's what's wrong with it? Sentimental? It's only, I mean, why are we dwelling? I mean,
why is it in
summer, why are we dwelling? I don't know. Well,
that doesn't make sense.
In the southern hemisphere, it's winter. It is in half the world.
I'm so northern hemisphere focused. I'm doing so much family stuff and so much home stuff right now. Like my husband changed 3 light bulbs yesterday in our house.
Wow.
We're having family visit in July. My mom's birthday's at the end of June. I went to some birthdays. I went to some graduations. That was still in Gemini season, but that's okay. But it's family oriented, and I'm gonna just take it easy and make my home pretty. That's what I think I'm gonna do. I don't really want to cry a whole bunch in Cancer season. No, I want to be more home family.
Yeah, that feels like actually a very big theme for July. I feel like every July is like that. I want to hibernate because it's so hot, especially growing up in Texas. Like July, August, those are the worst. So you just want to be inside.
And you've just come off your season of Gemini season. So I'm sure you're like integrating all of that. I
mean, well, I did have COVID last week. So I feel like I've been integrating something.
For sure. Okay. So this new moon is at the end of the month.
Next week. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, I guess when this comes out, but this, it's square to Jupiter in Aries. And I was kind of reading some information about this. It says, go after your dream that's connected to your sense of security. So I kind of just feel like what they're kind of showing me this idea of like, what can you do to make your dreams more secure? What can you do in terms of landing it deeper into your lineage and your family and your work and like why you're here? Because you guys are not just here for one lifetime, and you have generations that are going to come after. So think about the long term, they're saying.
Okay. I feel like that makes a lot of sense because we have been texting back and forth. I decided to like re-pull cards for the back half of the year on the solstice. Yes. Because energy changes, you shift timelines all the time. So I was like, well, let's just let's just see like if stuff's changing. And I hated every card I pulled and it just didn't feel right. And then you said that like cards and crystals and stuff are not wanting to be used in sessions anymore. And I haven't been using them either. I feel like they're not, I don't like, they're not at the right frequency for like this, for
Yeah.
all that we've been going through.
They're just kind of like that they're nice like things that make you feel good, things that give you perspective, things that kind of help you understand things, but they were also written and constructed in such a long time, like Rider-Waite tarot, right? And when that artwork was done, and just how much updated tarot has like changed the way the artwork looks, right? So it's like what we kind of were talking about was like, just because you pulled cards at the beginning of the year and now it feels different doesn't mean you have to like stay with the rest of those cards. If you don't like something, like re-pull.
Yeah,
right?
My guides were like I kept pulling like this fucking sword cards. I hate the sword cards because they're so like mental and like fives. Like I kept pulling fives, like 5 of swords, and it's like despair and grief. And I'm like, what? Like I'm having a baby. Like it can't be that bad. And my guides were like, you're not a victim. Like you can, like if you don't like this card, it's not a done deal. You can choose differently. So I think we're done probably like preemptively pulling cards and stuff like that for the month, and instead just setting intentions and seeing how it goes.
But like 100% you can like re-pull cards if you don't like what
you can. It's not set in stone.
Like because it is a reflection of like maybe your energy was off, or maybe you were in a different place, or it's just a reflection of where you are at that time. And what my guides were saying when we were having this convo was like, they're tools to help you and guide you. And people have done so much timeline shifting and energy shifting that it might be good to kind of re-pull them. All my cards for the second half of the year, when I pulled them at the beginning, they were reversed. Reverse cards. Like in your like July, and I was like, what the fuck is gonna happen?
What's gonna happen?
But like maybe that if I re-pulled again and I got similar energy, I would look at that. But if I got totally new energy, I'd be like, okay, like compare and contrast. Shifted. Like don't be afraid to re-pull stuff. And then the crystals and cards, like I'm sad about it, to be totally honest. I love crystals, and my guides are just like, well, you're gonna just do separate things with those. Those can be separate different offerings, that kind of stuff. And I was like, okay. But even today, even though they've given me this message, you guys, I'm so defiant with my guides, just so you know. I was like, I'm still gonna pull cards because I want to know and I want to see what the energy is. And sure enough, no reference to cards for my guides and the clients. And I would be like looking over. I tried to even bring one in, and they're just like literally like pulled my hand back, and they're just like, stop. And for me, what they're saying is like, I have enough of a connection now where I don't need to rely on those messages as much anymore. Like if like what they've been doing is they'll just show me a crystal. Like this client needed malachite, and I was like, oh, malachite's here for you. Or, oh, this tarot card will just like show up over their energy. So I know the message and I can communicate, what they are. But yeah, it's just making room for new things. And I think sometimes on a spiritual pathway, if you find like a tool's not working or you're not drawn to something, like it's okay. Maybe it's time to like shake things up a bit.
Yeah. And I feel like claircognizance is coming into more popularity with all these like ascension frequencies. Cause I think, I don't know, but all other like beings communicate telepathically. And I think that's what we're like moving towards. So I think that probably the more tangible physical tools we're just like gradually moving away from to really sharpen this like telepathy, this claircognizance. I'm getting a thumbs up from my guides, so I feel like that's
I'm getting that yes, because we may not, oh shit, what they're saying is where we're going. What does that mean, guys? They said where we're going. Like it's like the Back to the Future, like we won't need roads. That's what they're kind of showing me because they're very funny. But like where we're going, we won't need tools. We won't need cards. Like you can, like my crystals are still actually working for me. They've rearranged themselves and they're like just happy being little crystal beacons here. But in terms of like divination is what they're saying to me, we will be able to just directly download, because they're saying that's what the collective wants. Yeah. AKA that's what they need, because us witchy people like love the divination and like reading tea leaves and spending time out in nature. But for the collective advancement, we just need to be like, here's the message, here's the memo. Like, I just know that I need to do this. I just know this feeling. And it's going to be the like unshakable feeling of like, I just need to do this. They say it comes in through the head and connects directly to a port in your belly. That is this like, you know, that feeling that you get when you're just like, I don't know why I feel this, but I just have to do this. Or it's a motivation center there that it's connecting to.
Love that. Love that. Very for cool.
Us. But why, Natalie? Why are we connecting to this? Why are we all upgrading and ascending?
New Earth, obviously.
Okay. Obviously. Hopefully you guys are all coming to the new Earth.
I've heard.
If not, like, we love you.
No, that's not. Everybody's coming.
We've had some discussions of like, so they're gonna be like a bunch of dead people, or
right, like what is this? Because there's so much information out there that's like being channeled, and a lot of it is similar, but a lot of it is different. Some people are saying like we're actually going to be going to a new planet, like consciously, and bringing our bodies and like walking through a portal, and other people are saying like you're just going to wake up and you're going to be in a different dimension. And there's going to be other people who have chosen to stay in lower frequencies on a different dimension of Earth because that's what they've chosen. So I don't know. We're just going to have to see how it goes. Yeah, like my guides are like, maybe pull a card for it. It's not going to work. So like, we're just going to have to like see how it goes. I don't think anybody really knows. But
let's ask them what we can do to prepare best for that. Oh, now they like this. They really just said, keep doing your spiritual work, keep integrity, keep cleanliness, which cleanliness means like, no bad practices, no black magic, right? That kind of like, in that sense. And then my third guy goes, don't worry about it. Like that. Like my other two guys like, do these things. And my other guy's like, don't worry about it. Like,
right.
And they say in the sense of worrying, like, that's what he's emphasizing. You don't want to like worry and think and what's it going to be like. It's more just like, if you're evolving and like you're doing your spiritual work, and like just keep doing it and you will ascend, they said to me. And again, it's like, that's curious about the other planet, other thing. I get the more feeling that it will be like we wake up and it's different, or it just feels different or looks different, but it's not noticeably different. Like we don't wake up and like the sky is purple.
Right.
Oh, that would be cool. It's just, it's noticeable. You can notice that things change. I guess is what they're showing me.
Yeah, you can just tell that you're vibrating in a different frequency. I was listening to I finally finished that Dolores Cannon book. Jesus has taken me this whole season to listen to. And she was saying that, well, not she, they were saying, and she was relaying that if somebody from the 1800s, like if we were encountered humans from the 1800s as we are now, they would think that we are glowing. They would see us as glowing beings because our frequency is so much higher than it was back then. So like you're already ascended so much that we don't really realize, but we also don't have that kind of like frame of reference. But I thought that was fascinating. We glow.
I love that. I do. That's so curious. I would love to talk to a human from the 1800s. I thought you were going to say that they thought we were aliens. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Don't call them in.
You're like, here we go with a little No, please no.
I could just see them lining up, like people from the 1800s, like, oh, I'll talk to her. She's got a light on.
I'll talk to her about this. Yeah, light off. I really feel like this, what they're kind of showing me too is like, unless it's the planet option, which I'm not seeing, so that's great. But you know, what I'm seeing is you are also still with other frequencies. But if you ever do like frequency work or like sound healing, right? Like the why sound healing works essentially is it like the sound vibrations like bring all the other vibrations up to that level of the sound. That's why they have all those like different hertz, and the love hertz and the healing hertz and the cleansing hertz, right? All those different, they like get at that vibration. So your vibration will kind of help others to change. So they're saying it's less like a movie, costume change, and it's more like you're vibrating differently, you've ascended, and then the people you're around, you put that vibration out there and they can't help but vibrate differently. Does that make sense? I say that a lot lately. After I channel, I'm like, does that make sense?
Did I communicate that well? Totally
it's like a channeling tick. It's a channeling tick. You know, channelers have that. They say things or whatever. That's my thing right now. I'm like, does that make sense to you? Like, because when I'm asking you that, as I'm coming out of the channeling state to be like, tell me what you feel about what I just said.
Because you don't remember.
Yeah. Or it's just like, it's more just like, is this resonating? Because I'm the deliverer of the message. So if there's questions I can clarify. But yeah, that's what they're showing me. And then they're saying that like, that's why it's important for us to keep ascending and vibrating, because if enough of us do it, it's almost like there's a mass wave and we'll just swoop up all the other low vibrations.
Yeah. I think that's what's happening right now up into this like flash energy, whenever that may or may not happen.
I'm just so curious about the flash.
I know. I feel like it's like looming, like it's imminent. You and I were talking about how it feels like something apocalyptic is coming. Like it feels like energetically, I don't know, something is coming, a big shift, a final shift. I don't know.
Do you guys feel that? Who's on the call? Like, do you guys like feel that there's something percolating? I don't know if it's just us. We've talking a lot about just being tapped into collective energy. Like, where you like wake up and you're like, why do I feel this way? What's going on? Like
Cancer season.
Oh, it's Cancer season.
That's why I feel this way.
But like, I don't know what it is. And I keep asking my guides and they're like, well, it's just you're feeling this so that you can be ready, that you can be not shocked when it happens. I don't feel like I said, is it going to happen around me? And they're like, no, further away. But just what does that look like? So, and then I had a client message me about, I was just like, hey, how's your baby? She's like, great. Have you heard about CERN? And so it was like, CERN. So we wrote it down, the European Council for Nuclear Research. CERN is the French version, which we're not going to pronounce, although we should try to. But they found the Higgs boson particle, and they're turning it back on in July to maybe find more stuff about the universe. And my first question was like, what are you going to do with this info about what the universe is made of?
Right. Okay, well, I have something to say about CERN.
Okay, what?
Because you mentioned it before, but I didn't get to tell you about what I learned about it. Okay, so it's been off for like 3 years.
Yeah, like getting upgraded.
Particle channel. Okay, well, according to this, because I was just listening to this from Dolores Cannon, and she was channeling the higher beings. They turned it off. Higher intergalactic beings, because they were messing with dark matter with CERN. And the last time it was on, it was like they were kind of creating potential for mass destruction or like ripples or something in the universe that could have like destroyed galaxies or whatever. So they up there turned it off. I don't know what they did to turn it off, but they said they were messing with dark matter. They didn't know what they were doing because they were not of the creator being type. It wasn't being done in like good integrity, like positive integrity. So I don't know if it's actually going to get turned back on, but they said the last time it was on, there was a bunch of like glitches and like timeline, weird matrix stuff, like weird stuff happened because they're essentially like opening up portals and black holes, not in integrity.
They're trying to recreate how the universe was created.
Why? Like it's already out there.
That's my
Don't reinvent the wheel.
I was like, they're gonna like have their like mini like Coca-Cola universe, and it's the metaverse. Like, come on, the metaverse happened at the same time as all this universe stuff. Like, there's something there, but I just don't know what. Like, I don't get enough information about it. So I'm just sort of like, curious. What could that be?
I know I'm hearing that just like all of the decisions haven't been made and not everybody is in place yet, but they're not going to let us destroy the planet. So that's encouraging news.
Thank God that we have alien intervention to prevent us humans from blowing ourselves up. What would happen though? Will we just start over?
No, they actually, even though there's that law of non-interference, they would interfere because it would create such mass destruction in the rest of the universe. So they would like have to intervene. That's why that's why we haven't blown ourselves up yet.
And what I'm hearing about that even more so is that it's less, they can intervene in certain things. They just can't intervene with like you and your choices and that kind of stuff. But they could make the thing not work for a while and
3 years.
Just that kind of stuff, right? They can intervene is what they're saying. That's a difference than interfering. That's the clarity they want you to know. This council is like very serious today. Standing over here in triplicate form.
Nice.
They're very tall. They're kind of alien looking today.
Are they the Council of Nine? Are they the creators?
My guides go, there's 3 of them.
Oh.
No. They are sort of what they're kind of saying to me is like, they're PR agents. for the galaxy, like making sure that what is being talked about and is understood by everyone. So they're here to like answer questions.
Intergalactic PR. Okay, well, we love that.
PR. That's a great job to have.
Well, it's really appropriate because this is our live Q&A episode.
Woo!
So we have a couple of questions. And then if anybody has any questions for the PR representatives from the universe, I'm sure they would be happy to oblige.
Yes, they will.
Our first question, if you're not able to have children in this life, how can you open up that opportunity in your next life?
I love it. So they're saying right away, they're like, hold up, you still have this life. So just because you can't have what they're going to clarify as physical children from your own womb space doesn't mean that you still can't mother, doesn't mean that you still can't be in that energy of caring for children of the earth and the planet and making it a better place for them. So that's the first thing they want you to know, is that a lot of times if you do not have physical children, you're actually in positions to help more what we call like the global collective children. So just be aware of that, you know, all for naught is not true, right? You are doing this work here and now. And then in the next lifetime, what they're kind of saying is reflecting on anything that you see that you clearly know as to why you didn't bring in children, physical children this lifetime. So maybe was it a partner? Was it an age thing? Was it a career thing? Like depending on what you can kind of identify, and then sort of working on that now, because what you take from this lifetime, you'll take into the next. So working on those things that maybe prevented you, clearing away anything around those issues, so to speak, to then free yourself into that next lifetime. But also what they're saying is that you might have just chosen not to do children this lifetime for various reasons. Like Natalie and I were talking about this, that like, she was like, I don't know if I want to have kids this lifetime. Yeah. So like when you do choose that, you might have chosen a pathway where you're like optional for kids. Like if it happens, and some people have a lot of high circumstances in terms of like, I want to be married first and I want this and I want that. And you know, so if you don't meet those in your window of when you'd like to have children, then they just respect that and move forward. So you could try opening up your expectations around kids, right? Being open to receiving all kinds of kids, working in different ways, experience it in that sense. Yeah. But if you didn't have them this lifetime, it's likely because you're working on other things.
Well, or you had like something really terrible and traumatic and like past lives associated with kids, and your soul is like, we're not doing that this life.
Yeah. Like me.
Like me. Yeah, my record said I had like a 20% chance of having kids in this life, and it was been confirmed by a couple of other people too, and I see that just like judging by the way the first trimester went. So I think there were actually like a lot of big things that had to be moved through, and like circumstances that had to come together just right. So
yeah, that's actually a good thing too, is to in this lifetime now look at your past lives and go explore, like, can I see myself as a mother in my past lives to experience it? Like for me, all my babies died in all my past lives. It was pretty awful. And so part of the work that I'm doing now is that I asked Source, can you please tell me what's going on? And they said, no, but we can give you this ability to connect with the babies. And that helped me to understand, oh, it's not me, it's these babies and the work that they're doing. So yeah.
Okay, next question.
Yeah.
With religion being as corrupt as it is, why do we have to use certain religious people to clear out negative beings or possessions, specifically Catholic? Or is this totally false and we are just programmed to think that? I have the answer.
Yes.
It's totally false. People really like to have validation through struggle. So like exorcisms, like blah, puking, throwing up, like people really like that validation, but it does not have to be that way. I have removed dark spirits from people or from houses by literally having a conversation with them.
Yeah.
Like it is all kind of for show, but a lot of people get off on that, and they enjoy the like performance of it.
I just imagine you being like, excuse me, sir. Hi, I'm Natalie. Nice
what
to
do you
meet
need me to know? Yeah.
Doing a little negotiation there. Yeah. But why do we have certain religious people to clear out negative beings possessions? Does that mean like priests and stuff like that? Like, why do we have those people?
Yeah. I think it's programming. It's just what we've seen. using there's so much conditioning around like the light being religion. Religion is the light. So you use the light to drive out the dark. It's the only way.
Yeah.
Like anybody can do it. You can do it.
Yeah, right. And religion is just another form of control, right? Like before we really had the big political kind of control power that we do now, a lot of it was in the hands of religious people, kings and queens and, divine from God kind of stuff. So it's just an after effect they're showing me of that, just, a containing grasp for power in that space. And you can absolutely get rid of them. And they don't want you to know that because it keeps you obedient, is what they say to me. Whereas like, whereas if you're fully sovereign and can do this work without them, then, they will continue to crumble. And they are, just so everybody knows, religion is on its way out. Thank you. But it's a slow crumble because there's some deeply ingrained roots there. Yeah. And it is corrupt.
It is.
It's really corrupt, you guys. I don't know. It makes me so sad. Have you been watching that? What is it, like Be Sweet and whatever? Like
we watched it because Jenna grew up Mormon, right? So
and I grew up with a lot of Mormons. Yeah, LDS was like this whole thing, but it's just like you just see. Like my biggest thing was like these people are like we believe, and they're like your prophet will never die. They're like we believe, and their prophet died. And they're like oh fuck, and it's like it's this crack in like wait a minute. It trips me out that you can like quarantine a bunch of humans and give them this thing and they will just believe that. Like that is so trippy. But that was like the crack that group needed to start being flushed out. Yeah.
He still has like thousands and thousands of followers from prison though, because he keeps them secluded because out of purity or whatever. So like people who are secluded are easier to control. Unfortunately,
so get out there, people.
It's disgusting. Don't watch that documentary on Netflix. It's disgusting. Like did you finish it?
No, but I have crystals up by my TV now ever since you told me to put them.
Good. The last episode's a kicker. It's really gross.
I watch a lot of bad TV, you guys. A lot of bad TV. Oh my God, so bad. Okay. What's next? Okay, these are comments. 2030 comes to mind.
When we were talking about New Earth and stuff, and like paradigm shifting and all of that, like this energy. I have actually heard that 2030, whatever, there's going to be like another pandemic, but I honestly think we're going to be shifted into a different dimension at that point.
Yeah, but just like we have multiple world wars, they're saying like we might have multiple pandemics until we figure it out. Humans is what they're saying to us. They really are rooting for us. They really are. Just like, there's a little bit of that. And that's like Jill's question. Is there hope for the US getting its shit together and becoming a safer place for all anytime soon? Because Jill's in Scotland and she's not going to move back unless we make it a safe place for her. So let's make it safe so she can come visit. What do you think about that?
I think there's always hope. I just think there's a lot of dismantling that probably needs to go down and it's not so much, I feel like the dismantling is happening. It's the unification that is the next part that people are so hesitant to like unpolarize themselves and see each other as like the loving, conscious, sovereign, sentient beings that we all are. Like it's the unification. I feel like that is the biggest block to the US.
Yeah, they're saying subscriptions to structures. Like, well, I'm a part of this. And so until people unsubscribe, to the better than, the hierarchy, that kind of stuff. It as we start to dismantle the importance of that or the value of that, that will help. But it may be a while, Jill.
It might be a while.
Because there's just so much going on right now on this soil. There's just so much happening. So many changes. And there's what they're kind of showing me is there's this, I feel this pull deep down of like back to normal, back to the way things were, especially in the Republican Army is what they're calling it. And so how do we keep the progress of all that we've made and not let them just come back in and take us back into that space again? Like they're already working on the plans is what they're saying to me.
I feel like it's impossible to go back to, like, you can't put the knowledge back in the box. Like we all have it. We are like, you can't put it back. People are
My
too
guides say, but
changed.
you can try.
Well, they
That's,
might.
I think that's the energy, is that they're going to try to do that. And we have to firmly stand in the resolve that we do not want to be back in that box. You know, like, no, we will not go back to work in the offices full time. No, right? Like,
we want better
stand
quality
firm.
of life. Yeah.
Stand firm. Yeah. Like, it's already been proven. And we're in the like they're showing us all like linked arms, you know, like we have to bear this right now.
And keep choosing things that support the reality that you want to see created. Keep choosing those things. And eventually, like, it will catch on, and the more and more people will choose it, and then it will be the reality. And that's kind of how it works, I guess, with the micro and the macro.
What they're saying is that's what they're talked about with the like ascension. Like, as you start to ascend, it's just like it'll just keep spreading. So again, always continue to focus on your own energy and your own self. Yeah.
Yeah, because it reverberates.
Yes. Okay.
Jillian said tons of heart clearing coming up around the unification. Yeah, there's a lot.
Yay.
A lot of wounding that needs to be repaired.
Yeah.
Okay, Angela said, I work in mental health. The past few years have been quite the roller coaster. Do you see or feel a way forward for us? Validating the mental health needs for the masses. Council, feel free to answer. Yeah, Jess, call them in.
Yes. I feel like for us to validate, validating the mental health needs. Yeah. So what my guys are saying is we need to have free mental health. It needs to be at that level. It needs to be like, I'm such a proponent of therapy. I love my therapist and my couples therapist. Hey. And I'm just like, I just told them the other day, I like gushed at them, like, everybody needs a therapist, because it's the best experience ever to have somebody like hold that space for you and to talk about things. And there's all different kinds of therapists. If you haven't found the one that you like, let me know. I know how to find them now, and I know how to do the search terms, but like, you need to find the right type of therapist. I'm working with an internal family systems, AKA family constellations and shamanic work. And she used to do that shamanic work, and now she has a therapeutic background. So basically my sessions are just mini journeys, right? But like doing this work of like getting people into this space of continuing, they say, to break down the stigma. It's so important for people to realize that getting help before they need help. Yeah, don't come when you're so desperate and at the end of your rope. That's a really like hard place to be. It would help the therapist community more if you went before you were in dire needs. We get it. You can come in the dire needs as well, but it's a place for you to work on your mental health. And it's finally being celebrated as an important health aspect to look at. Like, we take care of our bodies so much, we don't take care of that space, spiritual space, emotional space needs tending to. Do I see a way forward for you? Yeah. My guides say y'all need breaks. Feel free to take breaks. We know it's hard, but you need to replenish and take care of yourself and have some spaciousness. You've been doing a heavy load, they're saying. You've been doing a lot of work. And you feel like maybe you're not getting anywhere, and they're just kind of saying like, it's not you, it's them. But it's this feeling of like, you know, you are holding the space for people to at least just, there's a lot of unloading. There's a lot of unburdening right now. We have to do that before we can progress and move forward. So that's kind of why it's just, we've literally just like opened up the hoarder's house and we've just taken everything out. That's kind of where we are. And it's a fucking mess. But we're going to clean it up and paint it, and it's going to look nice, we promise. But it will, that's where we are. We're in process. Yeah. What do you feel about that and mental health?
Yeah, I think the more that people just talk about the things that they're not willing to put up with anymore. And I don't think that mental health, like issues, diagnoses, let's go with mental health diagnoses, are just coping skills. So the more that you can like destigmatize that like something is wrong with you, because there's nothing wrong with you. This is just how you have learned to cope with your life. So like unraveling that, and then like what's normal, like there is no such thing as normal. Casual little plug there, but like helping
to my sound effect
to like denormalize life. Like there's no normal way to go about one thing or another. So yeah, why are we diagnosing people that aren't broken? You just have to work through some of that stuff. And then do you have any other suggestions of how to better protect your own light as healers so he can help others find theirs? For example, muscle testing. I think the biggest thing that you can do is not internalize. Just because somebody is unloading doesn't mean you're going to pick it up. That is not for you to pick up. That is actually not going to help them at all if you pick it up. But if it strikes a chord in you, an emotional response, then that is also a wound for you to look at within yourself, not necessarily for them.
Yeah. Yeah, my guides are kind of saying like if you need to protect your light, like the energy I feel in that question is like my light is being abused. My light is being overused. My light is being sucked out of me. So they're kind of saying like you already know what you need to do. It's like you need to turn the light off, like I just did with that dude who I didn't want to invite in the 1800s guys. You have to really just be like, this is yes and this is no. And they're getting very firm with me on this because this is something I'm working through too. So here we go. But they're just kind of saying like, we need you to be fully functioning in your work as healers. Do everything in your power to make sure that when you show up to heal, you are like, woo, yes, amazing. Like it's going to look different for each person and each healer. You really are outside of the norms of what it looks like, and just find what works for you. Please check in periodically because it will change. But it's just so important that you're taking care of yourself so that you can serve. That's what you're here to serve, they're saying. That's what you signed up for. So don't come to work like hungover.
Yeah.
And that's like energetic hungover or whatever, you know, like, and they're also kind of saying, healers, it's okay to cancel on clients. It's okay to say no. It's okay to have a thing and to be like, sorry, I can't today. Like people will understand, money will reflow. Like don't get caught up in the logistics, they're saying. Allow yourself to be honest and honor where you are if you need a day or a break. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody can drain you that you aren't allowing to drain you. Nothing can drain you unless you're allowing it. So if you feel like you're not being protected, then there's somewhere that you're giving that protection away, that you're not doing that work.
Yeah. So the other thing that they're saying to me, which I find really interesting, and this is for the people that feel like I want to help everybody. Hi, that's me. When you're working, when you're working with a client, like at the end of a session, you can just kind of say to their guides and your guides, like, please continue the healing with them. Like, please continue, like, let it be continued so that like you kind of pass the baton, as they're saying, to their guides and their healers, and letting them have experiences and opportunities that will continue the work that you do with them, but that you don't have to be tied so much to the outcome, so to speak, because you're not supposed to be. Yeah.
Oh, that's great advice. I like that a lot.
It's making me hot and sweaty, you guys.
I know.
Just channeling these three beings at once. Oh my God, are there dinosaurs? Wait, are the dinosaurs that we have learned about real? Oh, that's a good one, Lindsay.
Space chickens. That's what dinosaurs were, space chickens.
Okay, are we talking like Jurassic Park learned about dinosaurs? They're saying no.
Well, that's what we've been conditioned to see.
There's still dinosaurs right now here.
Yeah, you can't see them. They're 4D. Can't see them.
They've evolved past that. Yeah, so you've seen the images where there's like feathers and it's more like birds and they have colors on them. Yeah, they're just kind of saying that those were the images that we have were kind of based on, I guess what they're showing me is like outdated or older information. And then the movies kind of took it and they kind of like, you know, media and education kind of intertwined. But yeah, they're a lot different looking than we thought originally.
I feel like they were more sentient.
I definitely have met people that have been dinosaurs.
What?
And they remember being a dinosaur.
What?
Just a casual dropping in BT dubs. I used to be a dinosaur. Yeah.
What?
I'm gonna. Yeah.
People would love that.
Explain this to me. Okay, so like. Okay, so they're talking about like species evolution or species kind of a thing. Like they're much more smarter, sentient than we think. Because we didn't know, we just kind of relate them to other animals or other beings, or like we're just using current animals to describe and understand their behaviors, I guess, to a degree. We don't have a lot of like information besides their bones and where we find them. But yeah, people who used to be like the soul or spirit of a dinosaur come back into human form. I don't know why though. Let's see if they'll give me anything more on that. Just to experience something new. So you can probably like move species, you guys. That's cool.
Oh yeah, my dog's totally going to be a human in his next life. I get that.
That's why dog is spelled like that, because it's God backwards now. They're just kind of saying like, yes, you can move through and be different species. Mm-hmm. Your soul can exist as different things. Mm-hmm. That's cool.
I get that. That makes sense.
Lindsay, do you think dinosaurs are real?
Yeah, Lindsay, tell us. Do you think they're real? She also said, are the bones they found of dinosaurs fake? She doesn't think they're real.
Like man-made? No. Yeah. They're just kind of saying that they're saying this is a religious slice question. Things have existed far before humans. Mm-hmm. And the bone technology tells us that. But yes, they are real.
Yeah, just not in the way that we've been conditioned to view them.
Yeah.
Perceive them.
Yeah, we did not live with dinosaurs.
No, but in them. Yes. Just not with them. Okay, can vertigo be a symptom of ascension? And how can you access your Akashic records? Oh, okay, two-part. For sure, actually, vertigo, I feel like if it's a chronic problem of vertigo, like you have it all the time, then that is something energetic for sure. But if you get a vertigo episode, I've been told that's like jumping a timeline. That's like jumping a dimension. And it's happened to me. It happened to me when I was walking on the treadmill. I thought I was going to go off the treadmill because I got some vertigo. And I was just like, oh, cool. Just casually hopped to another timeline there.
You know what they're saying? They're saying even more important with this question is you can define your ascension symptoms, right? So you don't have to experience vertigo to know that you're ascending. But like Natalie said, like sometimes as humans, we like visceral bodily experiences like the exorcism and stuff to know that it's real. It's what they're kind of saying to me a lot. So like if you have vertigo and you're maybe doing ascension work or you did some healing the day before, like they want you to kind of notice like when and where it shows up, and then what you do, which I guess it kind of makes you feel kind of dizzy. And so it would just kind of like let you ground and things to that. Yeah, that's what they're saying. It's like notice when it happens. Is it around other work that you're doing? Versus like, maybe it's more just it, like an inner ear condition.
Right.
It might just be that.
You might just need to go get it disinfected.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. I get that sometimes. It's really trippy.
Yeah. I can't imagine having it all the time because it's so disorienting. And how can you access your Akashic records? There are lots of different ways. There are prayers out there that you can Google to access them. A lot of it is just getting used to the frequency of it. So asking your guides to help you attune you to the frequency. And then I have a course, Intuition Unblocked, that actually teaches you how to open them and what to ask and how to use them. So there's a lot to be learned from the records.
So I can just Google Akashic Records prayer and just say that, and then boom, I'm in.
Yeah. And
how do I know which one to pick?
Whichever one feels good. Try out a few. Okay. I don't know. There's no wrong way to do it. It's just what resonates most with you.
Okay. So this has been my thing with the Akashic Records. Hair flip. Is they're like, there's only one way to get in, and you have to do this prayer, and it's blah, blah, blah. And so I've just been like, I just feel like it's very like secretive, or like I'm very much like I would just open the door and be like, what's up, Akashic Records? No, I mean, I want to be respectful, but like that's the energy. And then I met this woman and she took this training and she's like, well, now I can create my own prayer to get in, and I can help you create your own prayer. You feel like that's a right now down on the prayer?
No, it doesn't matter. It's just how you feel like a divine process for you to honor the sanctity of the records to get you in there. There's a lot of respect in the records. So just going into it in like a sacred setting or with a sacred practice is going to get you in there. Anybody can access them anytime. I created a meditation. If you're not like a prayer person, then there's just like a guided meditation in my course that'll just like, boop, like beam you up in there. So it's whatever you feel like works for you and your strongest clair.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Does it look like a library of books to you?
No, it depends on who's I'm going into and what I'm going in for.
Like other people's Akashic records look different.
Sometimes, depending, because
Like
you always want to go in with
what?
an intention, because they're just it's so much. So you have to go in with a direction. So depending on what I'm going in with, it could just be different. One time I opened them and I was sitting on a flower with all of my guides around.
Whoa. Mine is always like this epic library. It's like 10 stories of books. There's a fireplace. There's like one of those library ladders, just because that's what I have in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very like moody. And I feel like there's going to be like a bar cart or somebody bringing me tea.
Yeah.
It's just very epic, I feel.
That's why I say
everybody look like that.
No, I know. Everybody has a different experience in the records, because not everybody sees that the way that you do, but maybe that's the way that you've set up to identify when you're in the records, because you don't go into the records specifically with a specific direction or purpose. So maybe that's what they show you to be like, oh, look, you're in the records now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. When I go to people's records. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm so excited. I want to do more.
Do it. I love the records. They say the weirdest shit.
Okay. It says, Natalie, you have mentioned on other podcasts. What are you doing on other podcasts?
It's been a while, but I have been on other podcasts.
That you can muscle test yourself. How do you do that?
There are lots of different ways to muscle test on yourself. I think I still, in my, like when you sign up for my newsletter, I walk you through using your body as a pendulum for muscle testing. I personally in sessions use my fingers just because it's easier, but Jess does this. I never got the hang of this.
I like to break their, what do you do? Like the flick?
You just press light pressure. And you'll feel again, I have a course, Intuition Unblocked, to teach you how to muscle test. I love it, but it does take some like practice and unblocking to get like really comfortable with it. But I use my fingers.
Yeah, and you have to like look a certain way too. I remember that because I took the course. You have to like
the way that I learned with Psych K and through all of that.
Yeah,
they teach you that in neuro-linguistic programming. Yeah. This space down here is your feelings. So like if you're using your body to test for things, you want to be focused and in your feelings. So.
Oh, and like if you look up, it's your
visual and then auditory. Visual. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I love teaching clients how to muscle test. I'm like, let's just do it right now.
I love it.
And I'd be like, say that your name is Sarah. And they're like, no. And I'm like, there you go. And off they go. They're muscle testing everything. It's like when you get a labeler and you're like, I'm gonna label everything.
Yeah. And I also tell you the ways in which like muscle testing is not good, like should not be your go-to, because there are certain situations where like you don't muscle test for that.
Like what?
Okay, well, the pregnancy thing, remember I was such a fiasco. Muscle testing if I was pregnant when I wasn't, because I was testing that I was, even though the blood work was coming back negative. So there are specificities to using muscle testing also that I teach you.
I love that.
Okay, I think we have time. One more question.
Yeah.
With the Flash/New Earth coming, I worry that since my spouse and I are in very different places spiritually, we will be quote unquote separated. Is this something we would have signed up for and we will be okay with it? Jess, if you would ask the council.
Yeah. Really what they're saying around this, so interesting, is like, you won't miss them because you're in a place of understanding. So if there is sort of a separation, and again, this me from what I'm seeing, I don't see the other planet's physical stuff. It's more of an energetic stuff. It would be okay, but it might feel different in the relationship. Yeah, it might feel like they're kind of saying, but like that doesn't mean that like you have to just go off and find a new partner. Like you can do what they're saying again. The same thing is like you can, if you're ascended, continue to do your vibrational work for your family and your partner, and they will come forward. Like you can't force them, but you can be the energy of the new awareness that they will eventually, like they say, be affected by, or will start to vibrate like that because they're around you, right? So no hard feelings. And it's not like a good or bad, yay, you made it, you didn't kind of a thing. It's more just you're more ready to receive the transmissions and the upgrades, and maybe your partner isn't. but in you getting that for the household, they're saying you'll start to like beam it out. Yeah, that's what they show me.
You're gonna beam it out. That's exciting. They're giving me this reference, like it's not it's not like shirts versus skins. Like there's no two teams. Like
Yeah.
and also people choose to be with you because of what you can teach them, not just what you can learn from each other. So also being around you, and their vibration is already raising from being around you. They haven't drifted away from you. So that's an indication that yes, their frequency is raising. And we never know the work that somebody else is doing at the subconscious level. Like maybe it's just not in their conscious awareness, but they're going to show up on New Earth and be more woke than you. You never know.
That's true. They're also pointing out this last part about, is this something we would have signed up for and will we be okay with it? And they said, we really want to take away the patriarchy energy around, I signed up for this, like youth, like, or even the more parental sometimes, but come down from the patriarchy, like, well, you signed up for this, so you must suffer is the dot, right? Like, well, sorry, you signed up for this, so now you're going to have this bad relationship with your partner because, you know, you decided to ascend and he didn't. It's less about like the signing up. When I say, like, when I see that, when people like sign up for certain experiences, it's like your soul willingly chose to have these experiences for the evolution and growth of it. So if you can see all this stuff that's happening as cool, like I'm in agreement with incarnating in this time and place, in this body, in this family, in this system to work through these things and experience life. It's more like, how are you going to hit the ball because it's coming at you? What are you going to do with that, right? Get into, they're saying, step into a place of curiosity, right? Of hope, of ease, of flow. And then they're just saying, like, these are fear-based questions right now because you're just, you know, you're kind of in that space of like, you maybe have come from a fear-based energy, right? But this new energy there's not a lot of fear in it, if any. So it's like, what do I do with all this fear? It's like, it's just going to go away. You're just going to feel okay with it. That's what they show me.
Love that. Steps to that. Thanks, Council.
It's really funny. It's like this, like, they're kind of like, they're making me do these motions, but it's like, it's just kind of like, I don't know, you know, when you like have lunch with a friend or coffee with somebody that's like in a good mood and you really love that person and you leave feeling better. You're like, oh, I love having lunch with Jess. You know, I just feel so good. It's like, that's what they're talking about. It's like, it just permeates the energy. It just interacts with theirs, and you do your healing work and you help them get to the ascension just by being in your ascended space. Yeah, you don't have to do anything about it. Yeah, just be in that space. Yeah. Woo.
Love that. And I think that is it. I think we're about at an hour, so that kind of wraps up our last live Q&A. Any final thoughts from the council?
Yeah, they are saying that they'd love all of us to do, who are listening, they're saying, or who are here today, to do something on this new moon at the end of the month.
The Cancer new moon.
So yeah, so to do some sort of, whatever this conversation brings up for you today, whatever you're taking away from it, you know, using your abilities, are saying to delve into something deeper for this new moon, whether it's journaling, whether it's doing a ceremony, you know, it can be big or small, it doesn't have to be of a certain level, but they're just kind of saying, make a commitment, since you've all heard this transmission around being that energetic being, to do something, to set intentions for the, you know, the next 6 months, basically, of how you could step more into that.
Love it.
Yeah, what could you do each day? Because it's going to help you first and foremost. Yeah, who doesn't want to feel good?
I do. Well, thank you guys for coming. This is going to be our last episode, like we said, for season 2. But I know it does go by fast. But there will be a season 3. We just don't know the timing of it yet, so stay tuned for that. Yeah. And thanks for being here.
Yes, we love all of you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.